This is episode 0008 of Gary's Glorious Golden Nuggets. And today we're honored to have the author Dench Patel, who has been writing for years. She has a few novels under her belt. She has written a child's book, but she's most well known for her blog, which have gone viral several times. Remarkable woman. She speaks 4 languages rather fluently, and 4 others that she says she has to work a little to hold the conversation very well. She grew up thinking this was normal, that this is what normal people did. So you can tell you're looking at a very bright, intelligent, articulate, clever woman who loves to express herself in the art of writing, and she does most everything online. And that's how she qualifies to be our digital entrepreneur today to have to the show. So, Tulsi, I welcome you.
Thank you for having me here, Gary. Thank you so much.
It's a real honor to have you. Tulsi, what's the one thing that you wish you had known before you started your journey as a writer in the digital world?
I wish that I actually knew that being a writer is something that comes naturally and is a talent that I have that I should have actually believed in. I had so much of procrastination as going as a writer, or would I or should I do this? Am I going to be successful? And I had so much of thinking time than actually going for it and saying, right, that's it. This is what I want. I'm going to do it.
When you were thinking all of this, was that you trying to figure out your why you were going to do it? Or was that you trying to figure out the how because you already had the why figured out?
I guess it's the how. And when you learn about law of attraction, you realize in this entrepreneurial journey that I had, the how just doesn't matter. And it's when you're on this journey as an entrepreneur, you're starting, you have all those blocks. And these are the things that make you further down the line success, because you have to pass through each block. And the why is there, but you don't actually find that out until you get proper professional help at understanding why are you actually doing this.
Knowing your why, has that made your journey now much easier than when you first started the process?
Yes, definitely. I think everything that you do, especially in now going forward with this new world that's opening up to us, it's important to know and be centered. Where are you coming from? What is your values? What is your skills? And what are you here to deliver in this world that is actually coming out of your natural abilities?
Out of your natural abilities. I think that's so important in a world that's so technical to realize that whatever your technology you're going to use to leverage yourself, you really have to be working with your talents and the authentic, congruent you.
For sure, yeah.
Well, folks, that's just the first question. And did you pick up the golden nuggets? There were a lot of them in that one. So this is really getting good. I like this. What is your biggest failure and what did you learn from it?
Wow, I had so many failures. Some of the ones were very massive. But since we're having this entrepreneurial talk, I would say that not following from the time that I was 18 years old, that I am a writer. This is what I'm good at. I doubted myself at 18 onwards that this was the skill for me. And it kept chasing me and I kept running away.
Running away from what you should be doing doesn't really work too well.
No. I was chasing something from a false belief. Actually, that's why I would call this entrepreneurial failure in the beginning of 18, when I was good at writing and I didn't know anything about the world. The world was saying, be a doctor, be a vet, be a psychologist, and don't be a writer because you're going to be poor.
Well, people who think they're being kind to you, they think that this is the loving advice. Go get yourself a really great career, do something that will make a lot of money. We don't care about your happiness. Just buy it along the way when you're making the money. Then your passion, your drive, your want, your why suddenly starts to kick in. And in order for you to be congruent, you discover this is what I was really supposed to do.
Definitely. I mean, nothing was piecing up. That was the part that really made sense. That, okay, how long are you going to go on faking that the job is for you? Oh, okay, you're great at sales for 3 years, but you don't want to sell this, actually. You want to sell what is nagging you on your mind to make a difference on this planet that you don't know how you're going to do it.
Right, right. That's a great segue because what I'm going to ask you now is what advice would you give someone who wished to try to pursue this career path of being online via the entrepreneurship route?
The number one advice that I learned, and I still keep learning myself, is self-belief. It's pointless if you have no self-belief. Everything that you're going to create is what is the outcome for your audience or your public. How do you want them to take what you're giving them to empower their lives? And if you don't believe it, how are they going to believe it? If you don't believe in your mission, vision, why, then how are you going to teach someone else to believe this?
That's interesting. It brings up the concept of the avatar. I mean, have you, in that process, defined this is who I'm writing for?
Yes, and it's funny how painful that was actually putting myself in the avatar's shoes. It's standing right in your face that you are the avatar and it's you and what happened to you that you are calling for to others to stand in their power because they need a role model in that actual event that you can describe to them that they're going through.
So really, people who are wanting to follow your footpath, number one, they need to learn that they have to have some courage, that they have to have the ability to say, this is the path I'm going to take, and this is who I'm going to serve.
Yes, yes. I'm just the person to open this idea to them. Who they are is up for them to find out.
Do you help other writers? Do you mentor along the way or in this path? I mean, there's got to be a lot of people who say, I want to write. I've met lots of them, and I believe everybody has a book in them. Everybody has a book. But do you have people that you kind of help along the way to understand this is the path?
I did a mass mastermind in a community for book publishing. And in there, I taught how to find your book cover through visualization and how to find the title through the story and actual what is the climax of the story. How do you find your book title from there? So I've done a mass mastermind and I got a blog where people ask me questions like, who's your host? I want to do this. Do I have to do this in HTML and things like this? So I do get a few questions via the blog.
Wow. Wow. This is so interesting. Let me move on to our next question. What are the best resources that you have found that have assisted you along your way in the digital path?
I found a community of mentors. I think was probably the best thing I could do is first mentors because I wanted to understand, okay, I got an idea. I think I know how to do it, but how do I be successful? You are successful. Can I get some tips from you rather than taking tips from someone who's never done this? So a community of mentors helped me, and motivation and mindset work in the community, plus my own work that I do with self-help on myself. And I dig up all this information on internet. If I find myself with a block, then that's what I do to get by and find my resources and how I'm going to use these resources. Like, for example, I don't know how to use Instagram. Who's going to teach me this? Who's the best person that knows how to do this? Is there anyone in the community? Let me ask them.
I think either people find a community and discover in the process that there is no such thing as a solo entrepreneur. You are an entrepreneur and you need other people. You cannot just be hiding behind some screen someplace thinking the world is just going to let you be anonymous. Or you're a person who goes onto YouTube all day long trying to figure out every problem you'll ever have. And there's just not enough time.
Yeah, I mean, and you need connections. Like you need, the only way you can find other resources and talents within you is to actually see what another person is doing, and you like get the spark, and you're like, "Ish, I think I can do this better."
Yes. Yes. And I think that is what success is all about. You realize that you don't have to do it all different. You just have to do better. I have something I can do better. Yeah.
Better against yourself and your own competition. No one else. You just learn from everyone because everyone has a right to be in their power. They all here to be who they have to be.
Absolutely. The only person you can compete with yourself is yourself. And if you're a better version today than you were yesterday, then you did it right. Absolutely. I agree. I agree. Wonderful. So who are the three people who have helped you the most along your path?
Okay, so I've taken skills from many places. I've been working on myself for 7 years, and the business has been running for 2 years, and the book has been in the process of 10 years until it's been released. So along the way, I found many people, including people from the community, who helped me to understand better what is it that I don't know on a higher level. So recently, in the lockdown, there's been three, and always in my articles, what comes up is Oprah Winfrey. I just seem to pass something of hers always on YouTube, and I have to listen to it when I see the title. So Winfrey has been one of the top people that I would call a mentor in some way, that comes up in my articles to teach others. And then I weave a more intense story of how I can relate that message and why it would help others. The other two are my parents. My dad just turned 79. My mom just turned 69. So she's going to be 70 next month. And they were the people that I got wisdom from in the last 2 years, because when I came back from my 18-year or 19-year-old travel trip, wherever I was, they understood and they heard like, wow, we never knew we could learn this much. And they then formulate what I said, and they made a meaning that they shared with me that I never saw. And now I feel like I've got more wisdom from them. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. I think it's true that the people who either raised us or who were around us have such a huge influence in our lives. But what I found really interesting in your answer was how Oprah Winfrey, somebody you've probably never actually met, has been a mentor to you. I find that true in myself, not necessarily Oprah Winfrey, but there are people I have never met, but who I have watched and who I have studied, who have really given me a great resource to become a better me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they've been around for so long, isn't?
Yeah, that's right. It was really lovely. It's like people like Oprah Winfrey, when they first started out, people aren't aware that what a failure they were, because all they saw was the successful person. It was actually her literally being demoted at her job that led her to being who she is today. So really it's like there is no such thing as failure. It's just a learning curve. And if you learn and get yourself back up, you're a success. You're a success. It's great. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I like your answer.
It's like failure, boom, and it's saying you need to go that way. This is the wall. Now you need to go that way.
That's right. That's right. The people who keep banging their head against the wall. It's like, you didn't learn last time, did you? You're going to just do it again. That's really true. What is the most common myth about your career path that you would like to debunk?
This part where writers, you're not going to be anything, you're not going to have a lot of money. It's a whole lot of nonsense. Because let me tell you, if you're 18 and you know that you are an awesome writer, think about how many years you have to actually develop yourself, which I could have actually done. But now I can tell good stories, Not only that, with writing, you can even become a digital marketer. Like you can actually be a writer for people's blog posts. You can be a guest writer. You can write novels. You can write articles. You can do journalism. There's so much out there that you can do that doesn't have to fit in the box that you're going to be poor.
That's true. A person who can put their ideas down clearly in a written format really has an advantage over a lot of humanity who can't do that. It's a real skill set. It has real value. I think one of the more famous authors that I knew when I was growing up was a guy who wrote cowboy stories named Louis Amour. It wasn't until I was in my 30s I was actually reading one of his stories, and I thought, this guy's grammar is terrible. His punctuations are totally wrong. He has really redundant phraseology throughout the book. And I realized it was just the spirit of his story. That's what people were purchasing. So you don't even have to be an eloquent writer. You just have to be sending a vibration through your writing that people will be attracted to. And so the law of attraction just seems to pull people to you. So I guess
Yeah.
that's why. Yeah.
Yeah, I so agree, because like you don't even have to, even writing is for healing. You can give courses on how to write a book, some part of your writing that you're really good at, you can teach it to someone. There's just so many avenues.
You just said something interesting to me about your writing, there's healing. Tell me more about that.
So when I was actually writing, it almost, because the first book, the South African True Colors and the South African Aroma, is based on a true story, I was actually pouring out and remembering things that I forgot from the past. And I kept taking them out in the book and cleansing it, cleansing the story, making it eloquent, but cleansing myself with that. Because it's asking yourself what you're going to teach someone from this. This is not a vengeance. This is something you want to teach someone, and how you're going to portray the story so that it makes the humanity, the better part of humanity, come out. And when you make the better part of humanity come out, you are becoming a better human being.
Almost an act of self-love.
Yes.
Wow, that's really beautiful. What I find interesting, Tulsi, is this whole writing aspect that you're talking about. I mean, we're both authors sitting here. I'm not a very good writer at all. I know that. You obviously are in love with the written word. You love to express yourself with elegance and beauty in the way the phrases come together. Yet there's a way that you express yourself that brings light and clarity to even the darkest of situations. How do you do that?
I guess it's challenging yourself. And if you're teaching someone else to be positive, you have to master yourself. There were days when I didn't even want to wake up because there were some really low days. But, it's saying to yourself, this is what I am good at. If I'm good at, because when I go back to the history of writing the South African True Colors and the South African Roma, it stands out that a personality that no one taught me what my psychology of my life was, that I was expressing through creativity, through dance, through writing, through music. The more you realize this is you, it comes naturally to you. All you have to do is know your why to keep you positive.
Full circle, back to the why. If you know your want and you know your why, and it's big enough, the how
Yes.
will be there. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Tulsi, if you could step into my shoes and say, if I was interviewing myself, I would like Gary to ask me this question. What question would that be?
Why writing?
Okay, there's the question. Why writing?
Yeah, why writing? I was a really good sales lady, and I used to hit top spot in a job and win tickets for the whole team. I was good, and then my father did the sales. He was a salesman near the mines. I was good at being a manager. I was on a cruise boat, working on a cruise boat. I didn't like this idea of having the bars, the hierarchy. I'm eating in a really nice restaurant. They eating in a buffet style. And there's a difference between us. So it was like I could be everything that I really wanted to be because I tried it all. Why writing? Because this is my message to you who's listening. Whatever you've been doing from the time you were young to 20 years old, look at yourself clearly and properly. That is going to be in your life forever. If you've enjoyed it from 0 to 21, there's a big message there. That there's something there that you have naturally that you should give, that is not anyone else's but to you, the only one, that's you. And that is what you should look at to see what are you meant to bring on this planet.
Everybody has a gift. Everybody has talents, but not everybody develops them. That's the crime. That's the crime. Wow.
You can spend your life not knowing that you're good at this, and it was staring at you all the time in your face.
So Lucy, how can people contact you?
Go to www.tdenchpatel.com. You can read my blogs in the menus. Just check through the menus, and then you can email me as well on admin@tdenchpatel.com, or go to my Instagram, tdenchpatel.com, Twitter, tdenchpatel.com, Facebook, tdenchpatel.com.
Okay. All right. So we're on Instagram, Twitter. You've got your website. Are you on Facebook?
Yeah.
tdenchpatel.com. Do you do TikTok?
That's the only one missing now.
Okay. So we're at that point where I give you 2 interrupted minutes. to tell the world anything that's in your heart. And the time is now yours.
I believe that labeling people is coming to an end. We are in a new dimension where young kids have moved with their parents so many times to different countries. They have taken on so many identities. You can think someone's an Indian, but they were adopted in, say, Amsterdam. Another person who is Chinese, but they were adopted by an American family. We should stop labeling people by this, by the eyes, by the face, by me. What you see here is no longer Indian. It's me, T. Dench Patel, Tulsi Patel, as my full name would be. And this xenophobia, racism is all coming from this labeling, the division of people, not only by race, but by nationality, immigration, civilian, whatever you want to call it. We all have value to give, and we all have to step in our power. There's no one who's more or less powerful than anyone else. You just harness your power to be on top wherever you want to be.
That's so beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Tulsi. T. Dench Patel, author. You've just listened to her, folks. I hope you feel inspired and uplifted. I do. I do. It's just been a really wonderful experience. And that will conclude this episode of Gary's Glorious Golden Nuggets. If you've enjoyed it, please subscribe. Please forward it on to someone else that might enjoy this as well. Okay, I'll say goodbye to you all, and we'll catch you on the next recording. Bye.